Hey, good morning, guys. Well, what did I eat yesterday? I had nachos. So I have a cheese that I make from manchego, cream cheese, butter, eggs. I season all of that. Chicharrones I use for the chips, and on top of the cheese and the chips, chicharrones, I put some cream, a couple of salsas, a pound of ground beef, and 8 eggs. Well, I had those apart. 8 eggs with chorizo and a third stick of butter. So, yeah, it's quite a bit of food. Oh, and I ate 3 Mexican sweetbreads. Because I can, because I get away with it. No big deal. So, yeah, that'll probably be it for the festivities anyway. We had a special day yesterday. So, the weight is this morning 87.6 kilos or 193 pounds. So that's probably the water from the excess carbohydrates that'll wash out. And what I want to do today is talk about carbohydrate restriction. So, what exactly is, carbohydrate addiction? That's why people eat carbs a lot. They're simply addicted to them. They taste good. When we could get them in our human history, we would be able to gorge on them and fatten ourselves up. Cheers, by the way. That's where we get our fat stores from. Fruits that would fall off trees, and that's another reason why we have an enzyme to process alcohol. There are some animals that can't eat fermented fruit because of the alcohol content, and they go belly up. Humans, well, we can eat them while they're on the ground. In fact, if we wait long enough, not only, the alcohol will take care of the bacteria, and even if they turn into vinegar later, we can still eat them. So probably don't taste very good, and most of the sugars by that time have been converted by the bacteria. But here we are. So carbohydrate addiction is pretty bad stuff. They have done some mice, rat studies, whatever, and they gave them the choice of sugar or cocaine. They picked the sugar. Well, of course, I have this funny feeling because the sugar still probably gives you some nutrition. I don't think the cocaine will. So at least the rodent is smart enough to know that if he's going to get a trigger in his dopamine, he may as well grab the sugar because at least it's caloric. Or that might be a variable in where people say, well, sugar's even more addicting to cocaine according to rats. Well, what if the rats actually chose the sugar because they could smell the difference between something non-caloric and something caloric? I don't know. And I don't even know how this stuff tastes, so I wouldn't know. Sugar's probably sweeter than cocaine. Again, U.S. Coast Guard, don't do drugs. They've never done drugs. Will never do drugs, especially pharmaceuticals. Nah. But what can you do if you're addicted to carbs? Well, you can go look up what's called a, I'm trying to make maths simple. Find yourself a picture of a cycloid, or take the graph of E and flip it around backwards, all right? And then you can, because everything follows this natural logarithm, or this E number. In a nutshell, what you want to do is, day one, you can cut your carbohydrates completely in half, all right? And your body won't notice it. And you can hang out there for, well, let's say 2 to 3 days. If you want to do the 2-3, 2-3, 2-3, because you can memorize it, that's fine. So cut your carbs in half, go 3 days. Cut your carbs in half, go 3 days. See, because 3 days is about the keto flu. If you stuck carbs dead, you would suffer for about 3 days. Well, your body now gets used to the half carb that you didn't take in about 3 days. Cut your carbs in half again for 3 more days. And keep doing that until a point where obviously you're not going to go, half-lives forever, right? Because essentially that's what we're doing. We're doing half-lives. And you're not going to do that half-life forever because you've never finished carbs. You would at least have a molecule, and you can't split those. Sorry, I'm abstract again. Anyway, that will work though. So let's say you're used to eating rice and beans. I live in Mexico, rice, beans, tortillas. So you used to eat 4 tortillas. The next day, eat 2. Eat half the beans, half the rice. And then do that for 3 days. And if you eat any fruit, eat your fruit. And then in 3 days, cut that in half. And so on and so forth. After about a week or 2, I think you should be pretty much done. 2 weeks probably, right? I'll actually work this out. I'm going to go back to what I used to do and find out how long it would take me to actually wean off these carbohydrates. Liquid carbs, same thing. Cut them in half, cut them in half, cut them in half. That's it, just go half-lives every 3 days. If you find that you're getting a little, go an extra day. This is not a race, because you're not going to go back to them ever again. That's the idea here. Dr. Sivas has an interesting way to do it. He said stop all liquids first week. Second week, stop essentially all the rest of the eating carbohydrates except for fruit. Third week, don't eat snacks, so just eat your 3 squares. And then the fourth week, stop fruit. And then in the 5th and 6th weeks, what you're going to do is you're going to try to meld at least 2 of your 3 meals to 1, so now you're down to 2 meals a day. And eventually, if you want to, merge those 2 meals into 1 large meal. I've been able to do that for well over 2 years. It works for me. I love it. I think it's fantastic. I'm never hungry in the morning, and I eat about 2 in the afternoon, so I'm never hungry 6 to 7 hours later when I would be eating. So if I have a hunger issue, it may come in the middle of the night. Of course, I don't pop awake, so apparently my body's like, dude, don't worry about it, all right? So you can use Sivas's method, you can use my method, half 3 days, half 3 days, half 3 days, until there's almost nothing left. Now, what do you replace that with? There you go. Meat and eggs. That's it. And if you really, really, really do like your non-starchy vegetables, keep that as a side. Fine. Lettuce. There's a list. Go out and look up keto vegetables. There's a list. You can make yourself a salad every day. Here's, however, how I suggest you actually eat these things. I eat my eggs first because I just want to get my eggs in. I love them. 6 to 8, normally 8, but sometimes 6 if I really want to eat more meat. And then I'll eat my meat. And then when I was on keto, I would eat the salad. Dr. Berg has it his way, which is reversed of mine. He says, eat your big salad first, and then go ahead and eat meat. But I don't like that idea because then you have this load of fiber and sugar first. I like to eat the meat, and if you're hungry for the salad, then go ahead and eat it. And if you're not, then ditch it. Don't worry about it, right? And any of those carbs in there, though the curve, the area of the curve is the same as the spike, at least you won't spike, right? Because that's kind of what we're not wanting to do. All right, well, this was actually a little longer than I planned, but hey, you know what? Enjoying life. You guys take care of yourselves. We'll see you on the next one. Carbohydrate addiction is real. It's as real as alcohol addiction or any other thing that you do. We'll chat soon. Be well.